Hello again, everybody. It's me, Marcus, and I review stuff. Today, I'm reviewing the song Routine by Steven Wilson. This one does come as a request, so as always, if you would like to request something, please leave a comment below, and I'll be sure to get to it. I am doing a live version. A couple of reasons for that. Didn't really see too many other choices as far as YouTube videos go to listen to this song. There was like the official music video, and then there was basically this one. So I was like, well, typically official music videos get blocked more often, so I'm going to go with the live version. Plus, Porcupine Tree is always amazing live, so I figured Steven Wilson probably wouldn't disappoint live either. So really high hopes for this one. I've only heard one other song from Steven Wilson, like his I guess his solo work. It was Home Invasion, Regret Number 9, which awesome track on the playlist. Listen to it all the time. But yeah, and I love the work that he's done with Porcupine Tree, so really excited for this one. Let's listen to it. It's Steven Wilson, Routine, live. All right, here we go.
We're going to do it for you now. This is called Routine. Thank you. What do I do with all the children's clothes? Such tiny things, but still smell of them. And the footprints in the hallway onto my knees, scrub them away. And how to be of use, make the tea and the soup, all of their favorites, throw them away. And the school books and their running shoes, washing them clean, and the dirty still sing. Keep making beds, keep the cat fed, opening windows, let the air in. Keep the house clean, keep the routine, paintings they make, still stuck to the fridge. La da da day, la da da day, da 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 da, la da da da, la da da day. Keep cleaning, keep ironing, cooking their meals on the stainless steel hob. Keep washing, keep scrubbing long until the dark comes to bruise the sky deep in dead tonight. Most beautiful morning forever. Like the ones from far off away. With the hum of the breeze in the jasmine's way. Don't ever let go. Try to let go. Don't ever let go. Try to let go. Don't ever.
Yeah, man. That one was beautiful, but so terribly sad. Wow. But yeah, that hit me. One of my first thoughts was, I don't know if it's just the music I listen to or if it's just that I don't pay enough attention, but I don't often see a player playing, a bass player playing like the picked style. Usually you see the I guess not using a guitar pick, but using like their fingers or whatever, or even doing the slap bass style. So it was interesting to me to see, a pick style bass player for a minute. But the bass sounded great throughout. I actually got to say, it really surprised me when they came in and almost had like a bit of a bass solo. That was nice. The piano throughout was gorgeous, and the bass and guitar really complemented it and also echoed it in many ways. Stephen Wilson himself sounded great. Female vocalist they had, I didn't actually see her on stage, but it did seem like that's one reason they had, I guess, the music video. I'm assuming that was the music video kind of playing in the background was kind of the perspective of the mother, I guess, when the female vocalist really came out. So yeah, beautiful song, really sad. Definitely hit me right here. So yeah, a lot to talk about here. Let's break it down. Let's start with those lyrics. So here's some interesting stuff. It says, routine is a story within the story of the album. The protagonist it's about a woman who lost her 2 children and her husband in a school shooting. Oh God. And the song describes how this woman's routine was what kept her anchored to the world. The animated video, which premiered during the live performance of the song, explains the story of how the children and husband died. Interesting. I don't recall really seeing that in the video. I'll have to go back and, I guess, double check that. The song explores her inability to cope with the loss. As a result, she continues her routine because she has no purpose other than to be a mother. So she continues to do all her tasks on repeat for fear of having to face what comes next in life. Damn. So an already like heavy and sad song just got heavier. Oh my God. So yeah, let's break down those lyrics. What do I do with all the children's clothes, such tiny things that still smell of them, and the footprints in the hallway, onto my knees, scrub them away, and how to be of use, make the tea and the soup, all of their favorites throw them away, and all their school books and their running shoes, washing them clean in the dirty steel sink. So yeah, she continues her life of being a mother, making food, doing chores, when really it's just her left, which again, incredibly depressing. Routine keeps me in line, helps me pass the time, concentrates my mind, helps me to sleep. Keep making beds, keep the cat fed, open the windows, let the air in, keep the house clean, keep the routine. Paintings they made still stuck to the fridge. And there was a moment I think I remember seeing there where she kind of like picked up a painting and stuck it back onto the fridge. Oh man, that is so depressing. Apparently, I guess the Leo Blair was the female vocalist in there. She sounded great. Mother, I am far from you, left behind a dream of my youth. All these years now gone. Keep cleaning, keep ironing, cooking their meals on the stainless steel hob. Keep washing, keep scrubbing, long until the dark comes to bruise the sky. Keep deep in debt tonight. Routine keeps me in line, helps me pass the time, helps me to sleep. Routine keeps me in line, helps me pass the time, helps me to sleep. The most beautiful morning forever, like the ones from far off away, with the hum of the bees, the jasmine sway. Don't ever let go, try to let go, don't ever let go, try to let go. Don't ever. Okay, wow. That last part really sounds like it's kind of her inner monologue, like you got to let go at some point. Whereas it's like, but you can't let go because it was your family. So it's kind of like a back and forth, I feel like. But man, that was a heavy song. And again, especially if it's about losing your family in such a horrific way. I mean, I'm not gonna get into the whole like gun debate or anything like that, but I will say that. I remember when I read about Sandy Hook, I was in college, like finishing up my senior year, I think, and I just remember reading it and just thinking, wow, like first of all, the fact that somebody would like do that, and then two, I think what made me even more sad were the people who came out the woodwork and said, oh, these are just crisis actors. The government has paid them off in order to like justify taking away our guns or whatever. That to me was like yes, the tragedy of course was the most horrifying and terrible thing, but then the response to the tragedy by a lot of people was just almost as horrifying to see that some people would be willing to say or believe that, I guess, in some ways. And so, it's easy to forget. And I think here in America, if you're not from America, you don't understand. But here in America, with how many shootings we have just on the regular, it is so easy to like forget that people are losing their husbands, their children, their wives, their brothers, their sisters, their dads, their moms, whatever. It is just absolutely like it never sits right. And like I can't tell you how many times I've read headlines, X amount of people dead in a shooting at this place. And it's like, wow, like, why do we keep doing this to each other? And again, mean, it's probably obvious by now what side of the gun debate I fall on. But like, again, I don't want to get into it because that's not the point of the song. But it's just like, it is such a tragic thing to think of. I mean, hell, I can think of plenty recently. The Las Vegas shooting, where like something like 50 people were killed. Sandy Hook, I remember very clearly. I remember the Aurora, Colorado Dark Knight Rises shooting. I remember it's like these things just of course the Parkland shootings, like so many these things just get etched into your memory, especially if you're someone who tries to be very empathetic and it's just hard for me to think about that kind of stuff. So to really get the perspective of someone, I guess, who would have gone through that in this sort of song is I think even more humbling. It is just an absolute travesty and a very uniquely American thing in many ways, and again, very, very sad and unfortunate. And it's like there's an Onion article, and the Onion reposted every single time something like this happens. It's like the headline is like no way to prevent this, says the only country where this normally happens. And yeah, it is a very sad thing. So like, to me, this hits me really hard because, again, reading for the first time about like Sandy Hook just absolutely broke my heart. Reading about Aurora, Colorado absolutely broke my heart. Parkland broke my heart, and then I'm also a teacher, so it's like, it's not lost on me that every day I could walk into my job and somebody with a gun wants to jump in and start spraying, and we do like active shooter drills, and our district has even offered. Fortunately, it was like voluntary, but they've even offered like, hey, if you want to, we can do an active lockdown drill with police actually firing blanks, so you'll know what the sound of a gun sounds like in a hallway. And I'm like, holy shit, like. Basically, this is what our society has come to. Rather than taking any sort of action on gun law, we'd rather just teach kids to lock down and hope that everything's fine in the event of an active shooter. So it is a very crazy, again, uniquely American thing. But man, it's absolutely just insane. And again, it absolutely breaks my heart. It absolutely breaks my heart. And as a teacher, you have kids. I've had kids tell me like, I don't want to die. I don't want to get shot by someone. I'm just like, yo, like, you're probably not going to. Like, we're fine here, But like, we just practice just in case. That's the thing. But yeah, it's a very scary reality for, being a teacher and even being an elementary school kid. A lot of them are very aware, thanks to the internet, about shit like this. So anyway, very beautiful song. I think the lyrics definitely hit home for me. Again, just being an empathetic person, it definitely hurts to read something like this. I don't know if they have like an actual person in mind when they wrote this, but definitely, there's someone in this world who basically has to live like this, where their life has been taken away because their family has been killed in such a tragic and horrific way. And I totally get this, that when you're a parent, and I'm not a parent, I don't have kids, I can't pretend to be a parent or know what being a parent is like. But what I do know is that I guess, having kids does make up such a big part of your identity, like there are some people who completely commit themselves to their kids basically become their identity. There are other people who, they still have their own life, but their kids are a huge part of it. But regardless, when you have kids, they become, well, if you do your job right, they become a huge part of your life. And so yeah, when you lose your family like that, it's like, how do I carry on? Like when such a big part of my identity has been suddenly ripped from me, how do I carry on? And it says kind of like the routine is what keeps me in line. But I like what the person in the comments said here, is that the routine is basically just a coping mechanism for her to kind of put over that fear of having to face that next step in life, So I think eventually, and that's kind of, to me, what happens at the end of the song, is she realizes like, okay, at some point I have to let go. I have to move on. My life has to continue, I think. But at the same time, she's fighting with herself, saying, like, you can't forget. You can't just move on. Because, again, they're your family. So, yeah, beautiful song. Very, very sad. Definitely hits home for me. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I will say, and like just like almost like a personal relation to this is like when lockdowns started happening with coronavirus and everything, it was like, how do you kind of stay sane when, again, so much of your identity has been taken away? It's like all these things that you would normally do, you kind of took for granted. You're like, I can't do these things anymore because now I'm stuck at home. So it's like, how do I cope with that? And for me, it was kind of keeping a routine. So I think it's kind of interesting. This song almost speaks to me based on what's going on right now. Although this is, of course, much darker, an unfortunate part of it. But, there is a little bit of like connection there. So, hey, lyrically, I got to give it 2 thumbs up. It blew me away. Again, absolutely sad, but very beautiful song. I think as far as the instrumentation goes, you saw a lot of just masterful work here. The piano was beautiful throughout. I love what they did with the keyboard, I guess piano, whatever you want to call it. I love the guitar work, actually. The guitar solo was awesome. They brought in that like steel guitar. That sounded great. I like how it kind of echoed the piano. It kind of kept that same melody. The bass work was really good. Again, it was kind of weird seeing that picked style of bass playing, but I loved it. I think that when the bass came in for that sort of solo part, it was very enjoyable. They did a fantastic job on that. And then drummer, at first I was like, they're just having the dude shake like a sand bottle or something like that, but they eventually gave him some more work to do. Drums sounded great. Really everything just came together and sounded fantastic. I really enjoyed kind of the creepy, solemn, really sad sounding music throughout. They kind of pumped it up there towards the end, kind of threw in that guitar solo, threw in a little bit of heavier rock instrumentation. And then they kind of ended it on that again solemn note, which I think was very fitting for the song. So overall, just a beautifully composed, well-composed song, very beautifully composed. I think I already said that. The instrument sounded great, basically what I'm trying to say. 2 thumbs up. And of course, Steven Wilson, I didn't even mention him on vocals. He sounds great, and again, I love the female vocalist they had for this one. Again, 2 thumbs up all the way around. As far as replay value goes, look, I'll be real. This one's kind of a downer, which is okay. Not all music has to be happy and bubbly and whatever. I'm fine with that. I'm just saying that typically when I think of music, I don't want to listen to the sad songs all the time. There's definitely a time and place for it. But with a song like this, with such a heavy subject matter, it's kind of like it's definitely for a certain occasion, a certain mood, which to me doesn't really detract from the replay value all that much, because when I'm in that particular mood or when I need that particular song, this is definitely one of those go-tos. This is a great song, so like a 1.5 thumbs for replay value. It's a great song. It's fantastic. It's beautifully composed. It's just a great song. So overall, really enjoyed this one. Thank you for whoever requested this one. I think it was a couple of people actually. So thank you for those requests. As always, if you would like to request something, please leave a comment down below. I'll be sure to get to it. If you enjoyed the music, definitely go support the artist. Go listen to their music wherever you can. One place you can definitely find some Steven Wilson will be in my Spotify playlist. It has every single song I've heard so far on my channel. It's a lot of music, so just beware if you decide to follow it. If you want to support me, just all the normal stuff you do on YouTube, like and subscribe and comment. Thank you so much for your time. Hope you guys are staying safe and healthy. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.